Hmm. Hmm. That's powerful.
Yeah,
That's
we
powerful.
are. We all are.
You know,
You know, we,
it's and as people are going to be watching this, I guarantee they're going to be locked in, as you guys should be. Um, I I'm curious now. You know, you've been talking about the seed movement, right? And I know
yes.
we're trying to definitely get to that. Now, the seed movement, for those that are out there, I mean, you've written a book. There's a book called The Seed, right? Seed the Movement, I think is exactly the name of it. Is
It's
that right?
called the Seed Movement. Yeah. I wrote the book in team play. So many of my clairvoyants or my team play souls that have found me, because really we all found each other really miraculously. And we all can see past lives, how we interconnect. So it's the same soul cluster that comes forth to, once we've been activated, let's say. So an activation is really an allowance. It's allowing yourself to feel like there is much more out there than what we can see with our eyes, right?
Right.
Or touch with our hands.
Right.
So the moment you're open to sort of like inviting the universe, the divine energies, God, Jesus, like anything that you feel like inviting is perfect. But once that invitation comes and you're saying, show me, they can't wait to show off. They will show you. Like, most of my pictures have the angel
Right.
orbs. And so when I was shown these beautiful, magnificent souls, that is my soul cluster, I was also shown that the number is very significant, and we detail it in the book, what the number means. It's 144 souls.
Yeah, we've talked
And
about.
we don't make a chart or we don't list them. But I saw that every person has 144 souls. It's a soul cluster. And these souls all come to the earth plane, and some on the other side, to assist in your seed and your journey. And when you find that, and you can, like, you're in this industry where you talk to a lot of different personalities. When you meet a person that has found their purpose or their mission or their seed, you can feel it
Immediately.
miles away, literally.
Immediately. Immediately, right? Immediately.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no
And
doubt that they're where they're at, right?
yeah, you want to celebrate that with them. Like even you, like your mission and what you're doing, like I'm excited for that every day for you. And like, even like, how can I help? Like, of course I'm going to come on and we're going to chit chat, and we'll probably do so much together that we can't even see right now. And everything will just flow and unfold in divine timing. We're not going to push or try.
Right.
We just wait, for our guidance. And this is what we've done for a couple of years now. It's worked out very well for us. And sometimes I can feel when you're down and you need me to call
Yeah,
and,
yeah, you've
and
done that
just
a couple
love
times.
you. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
you've
like,
done.
hey buddy, I'm feeling you. Are you okay? And you're like, no, like and we've gone into meditation and I've helped you do the heavy lifting, because you don't need any help with it. But it's nice when we help each other. It's nice when we love each other. Even just talking on the phone and showing that person love, that is so much more powerful than words.
Well, and it's interesting. I just, I do counseling also, right? Which is great. We did
Yes.
1 day a week where I get in there and talk, right? Which is the most important action to take in this world, is to be able to communicate and talk and be able to get that stuff. And that's exactly what we dug into today. Was the tool belt and helping and asking for help, and how, even looking back 5, 6, 7 years ago, how I wasn't able to even do that. But how when you learn to be able to find people and also be accepting of people and be able to let them talk to you, and they want to come share with you, that's an honor. It's an honor to be able to give and take. And I don't know, the tools, and it's a very unique place to be in. But a lot of people just don't know how to. They haven't done it enough. They don't trust themselves enough. They don't trust other people enough. There's all these things, that they get caught up in the blender that blockades a lot of stuff, right? But where were you at? You were going into.
So the seed movement, and I also want to talk about Los Angeles a little bit,
Okay, great.
because it's really dear to my heart. I
Well,
really love being there. Let's talk about that now, actually. It's one of my favorite places.
Los Angeles. You're talking about the city of angels.
I'm talking about the City of Angels. I've met so many beautiful, like just amazing, sweet, kind, joyful, and very creatively passionate souls there. And I really feel like it may not seem like it at the moment, but I feel like really beautiful things are coming. And the more that everyone can just hold that mirror up right now, that's all it's asking, because we have so many dreamers, so many creatives, so many beautiful, amazing souls in Los Angeles. And I feel like if we can just remember the message of just holding up that mirror and going within, you know, it helps with the chaos that you guys are feeling right now. And if we can balance and clear and be more kind and connected to our families, to one another, to ourselves, to our divine connection, this is really going to tremendously make a difference in the collective there. And that's what's needed right now. So I can't wait to go back there. I know that is for sure. And I have lots of beautiful souls that have not found me yet, have become close, as you know, but have not quite completely connected. And I feel like that's coming soon. And if I was just to, I just want to just say how beautiful it is being there, you know, walking around in the summer, like it's almost summer all the time, which is so beautiful for me as a Canadian, right? I barely have summer. It's like 2 months of summer.
Yeah.
And the flowers, like I actually like the flowers, and I've done, I've met with so many people and walked through gardens and talked about meditation and just shared. You know, I don't consider the seed movement or any of us really, we're not teachers, we're not guides, we're really just sharing in our own humility, and laughing along the way at ourselves and each other, and just allowing people to just be comfortable with this whole process, whatever that looks like for them. So very openly, the seed invites in everyone. And the book actually shows from a perspective of children, of little children sitting on a rug.
I was going to say, I love that. I was going to bring it up earlier. Maybe that's where the connection goes back to childhood. It was great.
Well, because we were in such resistance. We're not so much now. It's getting there where we're not so resistant to this. But when I wrote it, the world was in a great deal of resistance to understanding that we need to move our ego selves out of the way, right? This is a process. And the easiest way for me to articulate that language, of course, I'm in meditation, getting these downloads, getting this guidance, was witnessing the little children sitting on the rug, you know, and my mom taught kinder gym. This is what she did. And the kids just went nuts over. My mom was just this fun loving, and she just loved every child so uniquely and so brilliantly that it was just this like massive amount of love. And the kids giggled and squealed and had the greatest times of their lives. And so as I was writing, and I lost my mom actually, while I was writing the book, I lost my mom. I really felt connected to her in so many beautiful ways, but also showing that the children are us as the collective. Because if we can go back to the inner child and joyfully heal through this, helping each other, helping ourselves, you know, it's so much easier to be humble and talk about our own humiliations through this journey, because we all have them.
Right.
We're all tripping and falling, and so it just looks a little different each time, but at the end of the day, we really are so connected. And so the children, they are very symbolic to the collective, and the storyteller is whatever you want that to be. So if that energy is God for you, or source for you, or Father Sky for you, or any other religion, by the way, that storyteller is just becomes that connection that you're inviting. And the children, of course, are joyfully inviting this. As you know, like most children can see across the veil, right, until we tell them, no, that's not acceptable.
Real. Not real. It's not real, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I was one of those children that could see across the veil. And of course, my younger child, he can too.
You always had that then prior to crossing over?
Yes, I came in with a lot of gifts that I understood actually quite deeply. And in fact, part of the book expresses how I not only had a visitor, my uncle, to my aunt, but he actually came right through my body, and she got to experience him. That's in the book, deeply written in the book. And I've allowed that, you know, I went to,
It's like Ghost.
Yeah, it is like Ghost,
I
like
mean,
the
it's not,
Demi Moore.
but
Yeah. And it's happened to me several times. Once I was at a Christmas party and I met this woman for the very first time, and I could see, obviously I was being guided to spend time and touch her so that the energies were coming through. And her son had committed suicide and she
oh,
wanted to speak with him. And he came right through my body and she just fell on the floor crying, and everyone was very worried about her. I said, no, she's okay. She just had a really beautiful experience. And when I brought her up onto the chair and I made sure she was okay, we got her water and stuff. And she said, your eyes turned into his eyes. Like, I'm talking to my boy, and what you said to me was not you. Like, this is only my child knows this. So when we move ourselves as the conduit and be this beautiful conduit without the layers, of the conditioned, the learned, the trepidation, like all of these energies that get in the way of this, every single soul is capable of doing this for one another. And, even when we hear our children talking, like, for example, mine's 12, as you know, the youngest one, he talks in metaphors quite often, and he will guide me in ways that if you're really deep and present in the moment, you're getting all that information.
right.
And he's really a messenger all the time. But so many people can come up and anyone can be a messenger and give you a beautiful, incredible message that's going to touch and ignite your heart. And if you're open for this, and if you're open for people, just be open to love anyone and everyone and show kindness and understanding and forgiveness. And if you operate in that space, your whole life dynamic changes and shifts, as you know.
Right. It does. I mean, and I think that's the thing is a lot of people, it's one of those things where it's almost like moving or something like that. You think about this massive deal and you think about the whole project as itself is like, oh my gosh, there's so much to do here. It's such a big deal to like just tweak our minds, to do this stuff. But you got to just start small. It's very, you got to start just small. And you can't look at the whole, well, I want to be this way and then just expect it to happen. You want to take this big bite of this whole giant sandwich at once. No, you got to take little bits and pieces and start, chipping away at these changes. And the best part is the more you do it, the better you feel. It's like this, it's compound. I mean, it just naturally occurs where you start becoming a better person, and the other thing is when you're not in that vibration or you're not in that space, you feel it a lot more too. You feel it when you're off. You feel it so much more when something's just wrong or something just doesn't feel right. Like you just notice it more. You see it more, no matter what happens. If you're paying attention and you start to play in this vibration a little more, you notice the other feelings just starts to happen. You start to feel it and way more sensitive, right?
That's right.
It's exciting, but again, it's still scary. And people think, and a lot of people when they're even watching this are going to think, and a lot of people do, right? In the conversations you had, it's just, I had a talk with my buddy. I know it's not the same thing, but I had my friend, I talked about Reiki, right? Getting Reiki, energy, right? Some people believe in it, some people don't. But the point being, I do believe in it. I believe I feel certain energies. I believe in that stuff. And this is that, but it is that, but it's not that for those that are watching this. These are things that are actually palpable. Like, they're you can feel it and you can see it and you can taste it almost when you start.
They come to life.
They come to life. It's not just, it's not a psychic this or psychic that and some kind of woo boo, like people like it. There's a stigma behind some of the stuff we're talking about here that people aren't ready to listen to or aren't ready to hear or aren't ready to believe. And that's what it is. But it's actually more real than what it was. And it's become more real and more palpable in the last few years as society's come to become what it is at this time. People are starting to believe in it. People are starting to feel it. And things like this that just happened, it's coming out and people are starting to hear themselves. People are starting to look in that mirror and they have no choice because they've been sitting indoors all day looking in the mirror, right? And that's the thing we were talking about how beautiful to me and horrible it all this is too, but how beautiful. And my hope during the beginning of this and when it all started happening was I believe that this is an opportunity for us to see us. And for me, I started this true mission when I left the restaurant world and I started a year and a half ago. I started this ahead before I was at home working from home and already started this mission. So where a lot of people are now is where I was starting, a year ago. And I know
Yes.
that beautiful thing. So for me, I was like, oh my gosh, everybody's going to kind of see this. They can start seeing these certain things. Now, again, not everybody's going to see it. It's still rough, but those that are starting to be open, they're starting to be. I have friends that are,
Yeah.
heading, that are up and moving, that are moving closer to family. They realize this. I have many friends now that are all starting to do this. For like, what's important is my family, and they're going back to South Carolina, or they're going back to Michigan, or they're going back to Seattle, or they're getting off. I have friends that are disconnecting from social media. I have friends, like, it's a very unique paradigm shift that I'm starting to notice, and I'm certainly involved in it too. I'm thinking about it, but maybe because I'm paying attention to it. But I haven't seen this before.
Yes.
So it's started. There's an awakening going on that
Yes.
I'm very conscious of, and certainly you're conscious of. And again, I hope and I'm hoping that all this is worth it. Like, we have to, again, you have to get to the precipice of like crap, and you have to hit bottom before we start to realize what it takes to be, positive. Or I guess
Yes.
positive, negative are almost the same thing, work together, but you know what I mean? Good versus evil, or however we want to put it, which is
The
kind of,
polarity.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. And it's okay. The naysayers are perfect, because the thing with the naysayers, or the ones that are closed, okay, they're just simply not open to more than what they experience. They're going to create experiences, because this is actually the game, or the journey. Lincoln calls it the game of life. I like to say the journey, but they're going to give themselves experiences that will bring them to a deeper understanding, because that's the spiral.
Hmm.
So we don't have to keep circling back. We don't have to feel like, there's a lot of combative and defensive spiritual people right now that are, shouting and being very
That's true.
rageful and angry at other people that are not seeing what they're seeing, or experiencing what they're experiencing. That's hurting the collective tremendously. So when we can just know that everyone is exactly where they're meant to be, it's perfect, whatever it looks like, and lose the need to try and help them get to a different place, because that's really none of your business. That's their journey. They're going to create experiences for themselves to overcome, and that's perfect and beautiful all in itself. So who are you to try and interfere with that,
Well, and I, I always, that's exactly, I always say it out loud. It's, you are where you're supposed to be. It doesn't, whatever's happening, you are where you're supposed to be. And the other thing is, somebody told me once, and I was talking about this, it's like, you try to tell somebody how to be, you try to tell somebody how to change, you're trying to tell somebody how to be themselves. Just think about how hard it is for you to change. And then
Yes.
you're going to try to make somebody else change. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I
But
can't.
it's the ego work. Like
Right,
when you do your ego work, you lose all of that.
right.
There's no need to you can try and share and assist and encourage
Well, show by
and
light and
inspire.
lead by example
Yes.
and inspire. That's all. That's not telling anybody what to do. And
And
that's
that's not even forceful. That's something that just organically, authentically grows and flows. That's why the seed movement is called the seed movement, right? You're planting seeds. If you're open and loving, then you get the audience, you get the attention, because you know what? If you can't invite the people to share in your journey, then they're not going to want to, right? So we can't be combative and defensive when we're sharing. We actually have to try and go in neutral and see it from all angles.
right, right.
And this is very important right now on the planet. If we can all, manage to do this somewhat, even if it's just like we put it in our awareness, it's helping,
Right. And once you see it, then you start to see it more. Once you
So
see it, you can't
you
unsee
might
it.
talk, yeah, you might talk to a guest or someone for an hour and think like, wow, that did nothing. Like that conversation did not go well. And you know what? Maybe you're wrong. Like perhaps seeing it from another lens that is of higher vibration, it's like the seed was planted. However, and I loved being in the moment and being present with that person. It doesn't matter if they share your views. It
Right,
doesn't matter if they share your culture. What matters is that you connected hearts and you're open
right.
and you're in a way that is inviting. So the seed invites. And actually, what I do want to tell you something very exciting. We're getting ready to receive. So we're being gifted $144 million
Oh my
for
gosh.
our feature film. Yeah, it's a gift. And I was shown this many years ago that it was going to come, and not to worry about it. So like not to obsess or worry or think about it,
I
and just
remember,
allow it.
we talked about this a little bit. We talked about the
We
idea,
did.
right?
Yeah, and everyone thinks you're crazy because they're like, yeah, okay, like who says that and who just waits for that to happen? Like, you have to make that happen. You have to make the deals, and in the film industry, they say something like there's a formula, that you
Right.
have to follow,
Yeah. Yeah.
and all of these things. And I know nothing about this industry, and that's perfect, because all I really have to do is connect and have guidance and be open and be in neutral and accept the gifts that are coming and accept the invitations from others to say, Lannette, I want to know what this is about. A really funny story is Lincoln and I were in Los Angeles, and we met with a film producer that really had no understanding. And he was very honest and open, saying, like, I don't get any of this, and I don't see how you're ever going to make like he was just saying his truth, and
Sure.
and we were in neutral. So we love him anyway. He's just a beautiful man. And so we were going for lunch with him, and Lincoln and I were the last ones to leave, the condo on our way to lunch. And I had to go back in. I had locked the door, and of course I get the download, like, go back in. I grabbed my treatment, and I came out, and Lincoln looks at me, and my treatment, by the way, is just a little, like, something written about the seed movement, and it's in a beautiful box, though. It's lovely.
Okay.
And Lincoln looked at me and said, oh my gosh, mommy, that's for someone. And I said, yes. And he said, do you know who? And I said, not really. It's a man. I don't know who. And Lincoln got so excited. He's guessing all these names, of course. And so we go to lunch, and the film producer says, well, what is that? And I said, oh, I don't know. It's a gift. And he said, well, what do you mean you don't know? And I said, I don't know. I was just told to bring it. It's for someone that I guess is going to find me. And he's like, this is ridiculous. Like, he can't even fathom. And he's like almost embarrassed by it, which, is kind of funny in itself. And we sat down for lunch, and the man actually had to go and take a call outside. So he was gone for most of the time, which ended up to be brilliant, because I look over, and there across from us is Jason Bateman. And he's beautiful, Jason Bateman. So Lincoln said, okay, mommy, it's for him, right? I said, yes, honey. And I took over the treatment, the gift. It looks like a Tiffany's present box, like, this big 8x10.
Right.
And it had ribbon and everything. And I went up and I said, hi, Jace, just like that. And I said, like, I have a gift for you. Very matter of fact. And he just looked at me and he said, I didn't get you anything. Just like Jason Bateman would say. And I said, oh, it's okay. It's okay. I said, here you go. It's a gift. And he shook it and he said, do I open it now? And I said, no. And he's with two suits. He's sitting there and he's just grinning ear to ear at me. And he said, well, where's it from? And I looked at him very seriously, deep into his soul. And I said, it's from heaven. And I turned around and walked away. And as you know, these kind of synchronicities happen all the time.
Yep.
And he was just beautiful. He came over and wanted to, like, hang out with us and chat with us and say thank you again. And, like, he was really intrigued by the gift. And, he's not going to really understand it. He's going to say, who's this? Like, why would she be giving me this? But the souls that come in, same as Jamie Cromwell, I ran into him, and he's a beautiful actor, and understood the seed very deeply. And we had amazing conversations about it. But these people just find me if they're meant to find me, or even just planting the seed. Like, there's no expectations, there's no attachments, there's no needs, no wants. We're going to make this film no matter what it looks like, who's there, who's present, who's coming in. We've been gifted the funds, and we're just going to really stay connected and stay present and see who shows up. As you know, the music is out of this world phenomenal, and it never stops. I have a really amazing announcement that we're going to make with a musician, and I would like to actually give that to you. Ooh. To invite on the musician and make this announcement when it's time. It's almost time.
Oh, I would accept that.
Yeah.
I would accept that. That's amazing. That would be amazing.
Yeah. His name is Stephen Leckie, and he's a Canadian artist that plays every instrument almost, and is so talented and is so connected and guided. And of course, I was drawn to a place where I had to sit in this chair and not move, even though I was in resistance that day and didn't want to sit there. And I kept wanting to go outside. I actually got up twice to go outside, and I thought, I kept getting, no, go sit down, wait for it. And I'm waiting. And then all of a sudden this man starts playing, and I realize why I'm there. And he knows immediately. When he's finished playing, he comes right and sits down and says, I'm supposed to know you. And literally this happens all the time. These conversations and these meetings of the heart, because we're open to it. That's the only difference. So there's going to be something very exciting coming, and it's all yours.
Oh, that's amazing.
You're first. Yeah.
That's amazing.
And yes, so we're really excited at the progress and at the flow. You know, not that we're trying to make it anything. We're not trying to be forceful or even trying to plan in any way. We just allow things to come in and move with it. You know, it's a really nice way to shape a project or shape, you know, the journey. Especially
one related to, you know, Hollywood-esque type project, right? I mean, certainly something that's, you know, you're talking a $100 million production of any sort, knowing what I know, even if it's a $10 million production, and how difficult that is and how tough that typically is. And I think anybody that's going to be related to that project, I mean, it feels like an opportunity to, if you can make art in that format without the, I don't know, the underbelly,
the lower energy,
the lower vibrations, the lower frequencies to play, and not have that attached to it at all, then I can't even imagine. It's almost like when you talk about, you know, a chef making food when there's love. If you're having an argument over your food, then your food's going to entail the anger, right? But if you're making love,
it might burn.
It's saying, what's that? What'd you say? Or it might burn. Yeah, right. Yeah. Or so the same thing. I can't imagine that energy in this type of, in that film is going to just give more love.
It's going to just be so much love and so much joy and inner child that it's going to just be so much fun. And I can see this already, of course, as you know. And I'm excited for the other souls to come in and to joyfully play alongside us. Whoever shows up, it'll be perfect. Whoever doesn't, that's perfect too.
Well, I think eventually, I mean, like you said, eventually it's just going to spread. It's just going to spread. I mean, how do you not enjoy love? I mean, you know what I mean? It's everybody's, you know, it's infectious, right? Just like it's infectious. But how can people join the Seed Movement?
So they can go to the website, which is just theseedmovement.com, and they can join the movement. They can do a video of why they feel that the world needs more love in their own words, from their own heart, from their own lens, you know, from their own angles and beliefs and whatever their heart desires, really. We invite it in any language from any country. And, you know, we're going to be having some updates on what's happening. We'll definitely put everything on your through your stuff so that everyone can find it there. The book is right now on Amazon, but we're actually going to be doing it on the website, selling it on the website.
Oh, okay. Put a
taking it away. Yeah, the ebook will remain on Amazon, but our book we're actually making a coffee table book, 11 by 11, because the artwork is so stunning. And that's, of course, part of the story. I have a famous Italian painter that painted the cover and the back cover that found me synchronistically, just like everyone else. So yeah, it's souls coming together to creatively, passionately create, but it's open, and it's an open invitation. So anyone, anywhere can come and join us. And of course, there's audio meditations to teach people the tools if they want to learn them. Not even really teach people, but just share.
Right.
You know, and it's not only me. There's a few of my teammates that go on there, and Lincoln, of course, so that you get a little bit of a different, you know, there's not one way to do this. There's so many beautiful, brilliant ways to have the tools and to experience what I'm talking about, right?
And I think, you know, just watching this as it's gone, I mean, you know, knowing you as long, at least when I started, I guess what is about now, just about 2.5 years, maybe almost 3 years, about 3 years. To watch the progression and where we're at and the consistency in the story, and you know, again, having firsthand experience with you, you know, acknowledging the seed and me understanding what that was, and from the moment I met you till this moment, to see you know, I'm a believer in what's going on, and on all facets, on the energy fields, on the love, on the, you know, it's really something that that I'm excited that you came on here to share. I'm excited that you allowed me to talk like this. And we've, you know, we've talked a lot of times, but to show other people how our conversations are, because realistically, this is the type of conversation we have on a regular, right? I mean, we talk about
Yeah.
this stuff. I mean,
I think it's almost the same as when we first met. We painted this picture that looks just like now, like it, you know, and that's 3 years go by, right?
right.
You definitely have to have patience, like
Yep.
the patience and the understanding that I didn't have to seek anyone or anything, that I just had to be. I think that is what you and I have learned over the past 3 years together. We helped each other understand that more deeply. And that's what it's all about, really, just sharing and loving. That's it. And inviting and participation, you
And
know,
trust, and trust, and
going
trust,
into neutral. Yeah, trust,
trust. I mean,
totally.
trusting the energy, trusting the environment, trusting God, whatever you want to trust, however you say, right? Just trusting
Yeah.
the that you're protected in the sense that, I don't know, you know, trust yourself. You know, that's
Yes.
the hard thing too. And I think that's part of the deal is being able to disconnect or unlearn some of this stuff, is so that you can hear yourself and really understand that you know the answers, you know, but your other things get in the way and switch you around. So it's exciting for people to, you know, I can't wait for people to start to understand how to peel and get down into there and hear your words and take heed in what you're saying.
Yes.
And I'm excited to, you know, get the musical announcement on here and continue hopefully more of these conversations as time goes on. I'm sure we're going to be talking more and more, right? I mean, love it.
Yes.
And
Yeah, I'll keep you updated for
yeah,
sure.
when you, I mean, obviously your travel restrictions, when you're trying to get to LA.
Well, I think we have to go to Bahamas for a little while and do some work. And
I was
then
gonna
we
say,
just came back
you have
from,
to go to Bahamas and do work, or you
yeah,
just going to
I know
Bahamas?
I'm pretty sad about it,
Yeah,
as you
I
can
know,
see
it's
with this
horrible.
grin on my face. Yeah. And then we just came back from Vancouver. So I found a beautiful place to film the movie. And
Okay.
I found some beautiful creatives there, some special effects and some producing and directing. And, you know, this is going to be in team play. So this is not really, you know, it's not really run by, the show is not run by one person. This is really in a beautiful team play atmosphere, because when you can heal the ego selves, you can really creatively become a conduit, the whole group of us. So
Right.
it will be a different way to film the movie. And of course, everything about it is different anyway, right?
Right.
And I feel that the special effects will show across the veil in many layers, so that it shows deeply the experience is your own. So it's not just from my lens, it's from many lenses around me as well, which
Well,
is it's a neat idea.
yeah, and I think it isn't kind of the idea that the movie's about how the movie gets made. I mean, ultimately, that's
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
that's
And
basically
also, it's going to um, show something else very powerful. So the language of the movie, you would think it's spirituality, but it's actually going to be a more common language because of my deep soul mission. And I'm glad that we actually got to get to hear, because I've never really said this publicly, so that you know this.
okay.
My deep soul mission is actually to assist souls of the collective from the energies where they worship the dollar or the monetary system, and bring that energy instead to their own heart inside themselves, and an intimate connection however they want to feel it, however they want it to look like. And because of that, because my mission is exactly that, it's really a movie with the language that is universal. So it's actually a story about the prosperity and how it comes to the seed movement and what we do with it.
When you refer to prosperity, are you speaking financial, or are you talking about energy, prosperity, positivity? I mean, are you talking?
Well, money is just energy,
Okay.
but it is financial. This is something that is a very big message, and it's not coming from me or any of the others. This is a message coming from above.
And so we need to tweak we need to tweak our mentalities and
Well, we need to
again, your words, you put it right.
we need to really experience what it would feel like if we didn't worship the dollar,
The dollar
what
wasn't,
would our
if the
lives
dollar wasn't
be?
the purpose behind our life. That's it.
Yeah. Or even just the stress or the worry or the anxiety or the fear, you know? What would that look like? What would that be? What would that feel like? So that's my deep-seated mission in this lifetime. It's really to assist the collective to understand what it would feel like if all that energy that went towards money was directed inside to become sovereign, to become peaceful and more loving, and watch what could transmute and transform and happen on the planet.
You know, my number one, other than you are where you're supposed to be, is it's not about the money, it's about the honey. And
You
I
say
always
it all the time.
say all
Yeah,
the
that's your saying. It's your t-shirt, man.
I know it's my t-shirt. I mean, and so, you know, it's, you know, it just makes sense why we're sitting here doing this, right? I mean,
Yes.
I'm super excited to see where that goes. I think you know, I'm super excited. I think it's going to be,
Yeah.
I'm more
It's going to
excited.
be,
I'm not excited. And I'm not excited about like this. I'm excited about the grand, um, you know, connect of
yeah,
what.
what you're going to like, Q, the best out of all of this is how outside of the box, because you like that.
Mhm.
So how different we're going to operate, how different the language will become, how different we set the tone, the vibration, the frequency, and mix it with the creative passion. The artists, you know, the music is just, I can't even. If I even talk about the music, I'm in tears. But the next announcement that we make with you, by the way, and Stephen Leckie, it's a really big one because it's something never been done on the earth.
Well, oh, wow. What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And it's coming soon. Of course, you know, time is not real, so I can
But
see it very clearly, but like it could be next week, but it also could be, you know, in a few months.
wow.
So we're just going to keep you updated, and but again, everyone can go to theseedmovement.com to find out more,
Absolutely.
and read lots. You know, there's lots there. There's the meditations that are only 8 minutes long, because that's really all you need,
Yeah,
just
I've listened to them.
to practice.
Yep. They're easy. I mean, they're very
Very
simple,
easy.
very
Very
simple, very
simple.
easy, very approachable. And that's the thing with other meditations. I've helped friends get in 35, 40 minutes. They can take you down roads. This is a very approachable, like you said, can help you right away. If you're not someone that's doing it, check them out and you'll get it right away, which is great.
Yeah. And I mean, even if you're really, like you said throughout this, which was really powerful, that some people are just unsteady or unsure, you know, they don't know if it's real or if it's working, or like they're, you know, they're in the blender basically. But if it's just in your awareness, even if you put it on and you listen to it in the car and you're not actually participating, but it's in your awareness, you're really participating, because you're allowing those energies to touch and reach your heart. And it might take time, and you might have to create more experiences until you even want to understand it. You could be resistant, but if you put it into your awareness, I guarantee that it will be something unexpected, delightful, and more loving.
Well, I tell you what, there's a reason why mothers put music on the babies when they're in their wombs, because it's still, whether they know it or not, it's connecting. It's the same thing in there. You put it on in the
Yes.
background. It's you're hearing it. You just don't realize you're hearing it, right? A lot of
Yes.
times. I mean, so uh,
Yes.
well, I tell you what, is there anything else that I can do for you right now? I mean,
Well, we're not done. We're probably going to do lots of things together along this journey. You're involved. And we both know this, but we want to wait for it to unfold and see the
figure out.
synchronicities that arise.
Absolutely.
And I still feel like our music party that you and I planned in Malibu is going to happen. It might not happen there, but these musicians are all going to, like what we talked about. We should actually talk about this because it's really fun. We
Well,
talked about a really fun night
you
where the
know,
musicians came and jammed all together.
well, it was interesting because I know you weren't there, but when you said that, and you had said a while back, you had told me, "What I feel like you're going to do this thing, and it's not going to be at the restaurant, though. It's not going to be
Yeah.
here." Well, and then I went and did my sister's cancer event, and I brought all these bands together, right? I had 7, 8, 9
Yes.
performers. So I don't know if that was the same note, but it was more for the release party for what you were saying, for this for the movie aspect, but
Yeah, you're bringing people
but it
together.
was
This
still
is exactly.
it still did. I still ended up doing that, right?
Yes.
Whatever it was, or something around those.
Yes.
And I just thought, regardless of if it was exactly that, it certainly still resonated with me when it happened. I remember being
Yes.
at the Avalon going, it's pretty trippy. This is what a
Yeah.
year ago, I wasn't doing this, and now I'm sitting here producing this little event. It was, I don't know, surreal,
Yes.
right? So it's
Yes.
interesting what life does. It's really interesting.
It really is when you're open
Yes.
and the journey can really be playful. That's the key, right?
Well, you got, and it's for me, it's once you get to that point, as scary as stuff is, it's almost like, it's almost like a ride. I mean, you got to enjoy it. It's experience, and you're still aware, but you've got your brain and you've got your body, and then you've got your soul in there. And it's almost like the soul is kind of like a little, I'm just, chilling behind the scenes and kind of working between the brain and the body, and enjoying the ride, and trying to input and connect all of the above it. And with conversations like this too. And so
Amazing.
I'm excited. Yeah, I'm excited to tap into more and on a consistent
Yes.
basis,
I
So
love that.
I really appreciate you taking the time out. I know it's what time is it back there? It's late back there in Toronto. So
Perfect.
but I really appreciate your time. I love you greatly. You're
I love
amazing.
you too. Thank you for having us.
It's absolutely my pleasure.
The seed movement appreciates it.
And yeah, and so anybody out there, go check it out. Go check it out. It's
Yes.
worth a check. The book is it's certainly different. It's certainly different, but it's meant to be a little different. It's meant to be different, right?
It's not an easy read, even though it's playful and fun.
Right, but there's a lot to dig into it. A lot to dig in between the lines. I love it. So, congratulations on everything. And
All right, sweetheart. Have a great night.
all right,
Thank you.
you
Thank
too.
you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lannette Jamieson. Everybody, Q loves you. Q
Love you.
is out. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.